to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am working on a hop for the scrapbooking photographer. She hosts this hop, and I will have information listed below. I believe there is a playlist. If so, that will also be listed below. But our hop is called Whatever the Weather, and it is whatever the weather is in your neighborhood, or any weather related photos that you might have. And today I am scrapbooking about a weather surprise. So we moved in early June to another state, and before we moved, we would tell everybody we were moving to Colorado, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's so cold there. You're gonna be cold." I'm like, we'll be fine. We lived at Fort Drum. Summers are cool there. It makes it really nice to go hiking and do outside activities in the summer because it's cooler. Well, my weather surprise came when we got here, and it is not cold here. It is absolutely summer weather here. It is quite hot. In fact, when we arrived, it was hotter here than it was when we left Kentucky. And it's been hot. So this was a weather surprise for me, and that is what I'm scrapbooking about. I'm going to be using Vicki Boutin's Where To Next. I have 3 sheets of the pattern paper. I have this one that has a lot of like borders, and I have a wonky grid, and I have the clouds. And I'm going to be fussy cutting some of these clouds for this layout. I have a couple sets of stamps, and this is an alpha that I'm trying to use up, and I think after I use it for this title, it's gonna get retired because I'm running out of vowels and other letters. I have some ephemera pieces and some wood veneer pieces and some chipboard pieces. These all came from my August counterfeit kit. This is from an Allie Edwards kit, story kit, and I just put that out. I'm going to use that as part of my title. I have 4 photos that I have printed in 3x4 to kind of showcase the crazy weather here. And then that's what I've got to work with. So I'm going to pause. We're going to get started with this video. I will be right back. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut all of these strips of paper down into their components. Of course, I have the branding strip, and then I have all of the beautiful strips from this pattern paper. And I'm not going to use all of these. I will set the rest of them aside. I'll put them back in with the collection, and then I'll pull them out another time to use them. But I know kind of the idea that I have in my head going on, and so I just want to go ahead and get all of these strips just cut apart so that I'm ready to just go ahead and create. I do love the back of this pattern paper too. It is a really nice black and white floral, which is great because you could use it with just about any photos that you have. And so there's all of my strips. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the branding strip off of this pattern paper, and I will use this branding strip today. That way I don't have to put it away. It just gets used up right away. I do cut these strips into varying lengths, and so the pieces that I cut off I'm not going to keep. They're really small and just not, to me, they're just not worth keeping. So right now I'm going through all of the papers and trying to decide which ones I'd like to use. So I'm going to go ahead and cut down the teal and white stripe. This wonky chevron piece is really nice. I'm going to cut it down. And then this one, I accidentally left some of the black and white from the chevron on it, and I'm going to go ahead and trim that off, and then I'll cut it down so that I have the length. I am not really being particular about the length. I'm just randomly cutting them, and I'm just going to make kind of a border cluster in the middle, and then that's just going to be how it works. And so, I have this little pile of them here, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set them up and see if I like what I have so far. Because the photos don't really have a lot of color in them, I do want to make sure that I have plenty of colors in my pattern papers as I build this little background. I'm scooching the things to the right hand side because I had more empty space on the right side than I did on the left. So what I'm doing now is I am just putting a very small bit of wet glue down kind of in the center. I'm not gluing those ends just yet. I'll do that later, but I'm trying to get them into place and making sure that they go where I want them. But I do want the ability to be able to tuck things if that's what I decide to do. So, okay, it is pretty much the way I would like for it to look. That floral piece, of course, I decided that I liked that side better than the actual border. And now I'm going to use some of these grungy, splotchy stamps. And I'm just going to do some random stamping on here. There's no real rhyme or reason, but this is why I left the tops and bottoms of this of those borders open, because I wanted to be able to move them around and stamp. And I did have, these are new stamps. As you can see, I'm opening here right on camera. And I'm just kind of pulling out the ones that I think that I want to use today. These are not a name brand stamp. They're just some random stamps that I found from a place online. And I am going to just kind of just put them where I think they look great. I'm not really, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm stamping on this layout right now. And this is good if you don't have any particular things that you want done. I did want to put some splotches on here. These look like splatters. You could call them paint splatters, but I was thinking raindrops as they hit the sidewalk. The weather here in Colorado is interesting. It is really hot here. It is a lot hotter than we were expecting, and that's great because we have air conditioning, so I can get away from the heat. I don't handle heat real well, but the biggest surprise is this weather changes with a drop of a hat. It is absolutely nuts. We were out today in my husband's Jeep and we were watching the Blue Angels. They were on I think the Air Force Base here in Colorado Springs. We tried to get tickets and couldn't get tickets. They were completely sold out. But we found a place off base where we could kind of watch them. It was off a road, and we just kind of pulled over into the side of the road and set up 2 of our camping chairs, and we watched them. And anyway, while we were there, it was hot. I had an umbrella out to keep the heat off my back, and then all of a sudden it started raining, but the sky was bright, gorgeous blue. It was just interesting. The weather here is really interesting, and it can be volatile at times. What you're seeing here is I am just kind of putting the photos. I end up only using 3 of the 4 photos that I printed. The one that is on the left bottom, that is my front porch, which is a covered front porch, but that day the storms were insane, and that's hail, and it got all over my front porch. And so I took a photo. I had the photo that I don't use is a picture of my backyard, which, no judging, people, we aren't great with mowing. And anyway, there's a lot of weeds back there. They've been since removed, but when I took that photo, I was just taking a photo of all of the beautiful, beautiful hailstones that were on the ground back there. So my title is going to be Weather Surprise. I'm using that tag that says surprise as part of my title. I've got a journaling spot and another tag for journaling spot, and that pretty much covers the embellishments that I'm putting on this layout. So the next thing I want to do is, I know that I wanted to fussy cut some of these clouds for my layout. I'm kind of not happy with the way the word weather on my layout just disappears. Maybe I could have used a different color of font or something, but honestly, I really want to use up as many of that particular alpha as I can. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this large cloud that I'm fussy cutting, and I realize that I am pulling it off camera and you can't see real well, but I'm just fussy cutting the large cloud, and I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut a few others here. I know that I'm not going to use more than what I actually fussy cut here, and in fact I think I end up fussy cutting a couple that I don't use at all. So I'm going to go ahead and trim down this wonky E. This E was actually a B on the alpha sticker, and I cut off the edges and made it an E, and the middle piece was still a little crazy, so I went ahead and I trimmed that down. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere a couple of those clouds, or looks like just one of those clouds down here, and I'm going to use this as a focal point for my title. This way you can see my title completely. And that was Phineas that you saw walking across my layout. I am still kind of dealing with the kitten phase. He is a little bit wild. He is absolutely adorable. Currently he's being crazy, and you may hear him fussing off and on during this video, and I apologize if you don't really care for kitties, but he is just a baby and he is trying to learn how things are done around here. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and set up some of these other clouds. What I want to make sure that I do is I get at least 3 clouds on this layout. I think there's actually 4 because I do 2 and make kind of a layered cloud. But this little tiny cloud here, I want to make sure that I get it all cut out, and I'm going to put it kind of underneath that little cluster that I made where it says loving it. I'm going to stick it kind of right there, and then we're going to be good to go. All right, I knew when I pulled that sun out of my August counterfeit kit that I wanted to put some yellow paint on it. I don't always paint my wood veneer, but for this is really easy to paint, and that is a Vicky Bouton paint that I purchased at my local Joann's. On sale. It was like half price. There's a set of 4. I think they were only $6 after, I think that's right, after I used coupons and the sell price. Anyway, so I'm sticking that up there on that upper right hand corner, and I'm zoomed in really close here, and I know it's kind of hard to see the whole layout. I will zoom back out here in a little bit, and so that you can see what's going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut another cloud here because I decided that I wanted more cloud on the layout. So maybe I actually get 5 fussy cut clouds on here. I'm sticking it underneath Love It, and I'm layering the smaller one. I think I just decided that I didn't like only the look of that small one and wanted to make sure that I added a second larger one. Okay, I got my layout completely finished. Off camera, I added a bow and finished writing my journaling on the label. Everything is glued down. I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. I didn't end up using all 4 photos. I probably should have printed them 2x3 instead of 3x4 to get them all on here, but that's fine. This works. And I did do the fussy cutting of the clouds to put some weather related items on my layout. I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who are taking the time to like, comment, and or subscribe to my channel. You are helping me to build this channel. Without your help, I can't do it. So I am very grateful to you. Thank you again for coming today. Make sure you check out that description box below my video, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.